Hello guys, this is Supreme. You are watching YouTube channel Project JE Need. So guys, this is our first ever video on physics subject of this channel. So in this session, we are going to start a brand new chapter called rotational mechanics. So I hope you all love the series of the rotational motion and rotational mechanics. So I hope you all know the importance of rotational mechanics chapter because this is the most important chapter in the whole physics of class 11. So without any wasting of time, let's start the rotational mechanics. So in order to know the rotational mechanics pure deeply, we have to know the basics of rotational mechanics. So in this session, we are going to discuss those basics of rotational mechanics chapter. So what are the basics of this chapter? The basics of this rotational mechanics chapter are the rigid body definition and the understanding of rigid body, and then we will go to the types of motion, which is translatory motion and rotational motion and combined motion. So we will be dealing with all the three types of motion, first translatory motion and then rotational motion, and the both definitions and both examples as well, and then we will go to the combined motion, which is translatory motion plus rotational motion, where we will be dealing with also examples as well. So without any wasting of time, let's start the definition of rigid body. So first of all, what is meant by a rigid body? So in the next discussions, we will be discussing all the definitions and all the motions. We will be discussing about a rigid body performance. In all the discussions, we will be discussing about a rigid body in which it performs some types of motion. So let's start. So now let's discuss the subheading rigid body. Rigid body. So as we have discussed in the whole chapter, we will be dealing with the performance of this rigid body. So first of all, in order to enter the chapter, we have to know the basic definition of this rigid body. So the rigid body is the body where the distance between two particles is constant. So please note it. Rigid body. Rigid body is a body where distance between two particles of the body is constant, and definitely if we are discussing about the body, a rigid body can't deform, which means the shape and the size of this body does not change according to the situations, and also the distance between two particles. If this is a rigid body, then for example we took particle 1 and particle 2 as the references. So this is the first particle and this is the second particle of this rigid body. For suppose if this is the perfect rigid body, in any of the situations, either it is falling from a wedge, it is moving in this direction. So the distance between for suppose if this is r, in any situation, in any instant, this r must be maintained as r only. It can't change r plus x or r minus x. The distance cannot be changed for the following two particles on the specific rigid body. So if we take another example, if this square or a cube is a rigid body, then if we assume P1 and P2 as two particles on that body, if we throw in a projectile way, during the motion, the P1 to P2 distance will be constant. In order to maintain the rigidness, it has to maintain the distance as constant. If the distance between the two particles changes, then it cannot be said as rigid body. So this is the main definition and examples of rigid body. Till now we discussed rigid body, then we are going to start the types of motion. So note the definition and some examples of rigid body, then we will continue. Take a screenshot if possible and note it, and then we will continue the topic. So we completed the rigid body. Hope you all took a screenshot or else you noted the notes of that definition. So let's continue the types of motion. Types of motion. Types of motion. So as we have discussed in the introduction of this video, I will discuss the three types. In the introduction only, I said the types of motion, which is of three types. Three types. First one is translatory motion. Translatory motion. The second one is rotational motion, and the third one is combined motion. So where we will be discussing the first aspect now, and the further topics in the further discussions. So first let's start the translatory motion. So what is the definition of translatory motion? Translatory motion indicates a movement of the body in a straight line without rotating about its axis. I know you all know the rotation topic. Here rotation means if we use an object which is a circular or let's say a shape. So if we take a particular point, if this is rotating at that point as the axis, so then it is said as rotation. So here it is not like that. Translation means without taking any point as reference or an axis. If we take this is the floor, then it should move like this. If P1, let's assume P1 particle is in this position, then after the translatory motion also the P1 will be undisturbed. The P1 position will be undisturbed. The distance from the center will be constant. I know this is a rigid body. Rigid body distance between the center and the P1 must not change, and the direction also must not change in the specific translatory motion. Here translatory motion indicates the without changing motion of the body without changing. If assume this as a body, and then translation motion indicates motion of this body like this. Assume this as a body, then translatory motion is motion of the body like this. Rotational motion is like this. Translatory motion is like this. So here, I hope you all understand the differences between translatory motion and rotational motion. Translatory motion indicates like this, and rotational motion indicates like this, rotating along a fixed point. I know we will discuss this rotational motion in the next discussion, but for now we will discuss about the translatory motion. Translatory motion. So I have completed the definition of translatory motion here. For example, let's take marker move like this without changing any position of the position of the particles involved in a marker. So like this, in a constant position it is moving in either x-axis or in xy plane. So I hope you understood the examples as well. So in the next discussions we will be discussing about the rotational motion. So in the previous discussion we completed the translatory motion. I hope you all understood the translatory motion definition and examples as well. If you want more examples, just Google them. We get more number of examples as per wish. Then going to second type, which is rotational motion. So what is rotational motion? In the previous discussions also, I just gave an example of translatory motion and explained the rotational motion there itself. So for now, let's take the same body as an example. If P1 is a particle on this with a distance of r from the center of the body. So if this is a floor, assume rotational motion of this body. Rotational motion means rotating in a particular axis without changing the position of the axis or the position of the whole system, changing the position at the fixed point, rotating. If we assume this as an axis, rotation of axis, rotation must be in this direction or in this direction. Okay, this is the 3D concept. We can't explain in the 2D objects. So for suppose you assume this marker as a z-axis. So if this body rotates, either x-axis direction or negative x-axis direction, the rotational motion indicates the rotation of the body along with the fixed point here. If we assume this center of the circle as the fixed point of rotation, then the axis passing perpendicular to the point of rotation is the rotation axis. So then object will be rotating in this direction or in this direction. I hope you understood the definition, or you imagine the situation where this all concept is involved and you assume the body is rotating along this z-axis direction. Then you will be able to understand the definition of rotational motion in clear way. So we have completed. For example, we give the example of in all the rooms we have ceiling fans. Ceiling fans are the best example of rotational motion. So for suppose if we assume this is the rod of ceiling fan and bottom of this rod contains a ceiling fan, then the fan rotates in this direction at a constant rate, or so here at constant position the fan will be rotating without changing the direction of axis or without changing the rotation of axis. So this is the best example of the rotational motion, and in the next discussion we are going to discuss the third type, which is combined motion of a rigid body. So note it, if possible take a screenshot and note it. When I am dictating the definition, you must have a notes and a pen in your book. Okay, you have to note it simultaneously when I am discussing the topic, so that you can understand more clearly. Now let's discuss combined motion. So we have completed rotational motion recently, and now let's go to the combined motion. So in the introduction as well, I mentioned the combined motion. What is combined motion? Combined motion is the motion where these two are done simultaneously. Translatory motion plus rotational motion gives you the combined motion. So at the same instant, both the types of motion must be included for the same body. So for suppose if we take a body as a reference, if this is the center and this is P1 particle and with the distance of r, then the combined motion this is floor. The movement along the translated direction, pure translated direction, and the rotation of this body must be done simultaneously. For suppose if we take this marker as a z-axis and this as x-axis and this as y-axis, then if the body is rotating along clockwise direction, then the rotation must be happened. For simple rotational motion, the position of the whole system did not change. So for suppose if this we continue as a combined motion, Then for the combined motion, the rotation of the body will be occurring, and at the same time, along with the time, the translatory motion also will be happening here. So for suppose here, if we take an example, so this motion continues in this way and in this way without changing the rotation of axis and the direction of motion. So here the direction of motion may change, but the rotation, the axis of rotation can't change in this combined motion topic. So the best example of this combined motion is your bicycle tire or your motorcycle tire. So if you going on the road, then your tire performs the combined motion, because assume your tire is rotating along the center of the tire and it is moving along the direction of the road. So both the types of motion are continuing in the simultaneously. So both are acting on that same body at the same time. So that type of motion is combined motion. I hope you understand that best example, which is your motorcycle or your bicycle tire. When you are riding a motorcycle, if you observe the front or the back tire, the tire contains, the tire performs both the types of motion simultaneously, which are translatory motion and the rotational motion are done by that tire simultaneously. So that is the best example. So note it, the definition. So write the definition of the combined motion by your own, and write your example as well. Recently we have completed the types of motion, which is translatory, rotational and combined motion, and along with that we took some examples as well. And before that we have discussed about the rigid body definition and an example also, in which situations the rigid body, the shape and size will not change, and that topic is completed. But now the next further topic is kinematics in the rotational mechanics, kinematics in a rotational way. So but we will not be discussing that topic in this session. We will be discussing the most important topic of this chapter, which is moment of inertia. Some of you may have listened this word earlier in the lower sessions, and some of you may not listen. So but I will be discussing this topic detailedly in this session. So what is moment of inertia? So before going to moment of inertia, let's go to inertia first. What is inertia? In the lower classes like 9th or 8th classes, you may have learned about the topic, which is inertia. So for example, if you are going in a bus, suddenly the driver stops the bus, which is in translatory motion. That time your body performs inertia, your body experiences the inertia of your motion. So your body falls forward direction because the bus has been stopped by the driver. Then your body tries to continue your motion, but the friction and some opposing forces stops your body motion. So your body falls back, forward. If the bus is stopped at the rest, if the bus is u is equal to 0, which is rest for some time, and suddenly the bus driver starts the bus, then you will experience the backward pull by the bus. But that's not actually the contacting pull, that is inertia experienced by the body, because this bus is rest at the starting of time. So your body will also be starting, but rest. Then the bus starts suddenly, then your body also moves in that direction. But if u is equal to 0, then your body remains at rest for some time because of inertia, because your body tries to continue the rest position. Your body tries to the rest position, continue the rest position for some time, but the opposing forces continue the motion of the body. So that's why your body falls backward. So if you are standing in a bus, that is too dangerous, because if suddenly the bus driver stops, you will fall directly front forward, or if suddenly the bus starts, you will fall backwards. So that is the inertia topic. So till now we discussed about only inertia. So but now we will not be discussing about the inertia in this rotational mechanics. We will be discussing the moment of inertia in this chapter. So here, moment of inertia is different for different types of bodies. Here, moment of inertia is the inability to continue the position of rest or motion. So I hope you understood the meaning of moment of inertia here. So same as the inertia in the kinematics, moment of inertia is the inability of body, a rigid body, to continue its rest or uniform circular motion. So you have to note it, the definition of moment of inertia, and in the next case I will discuss you with the example which indicates the moment of inertia for a common axis. So now let's you first write the heading and then note the definition of moment of inertia: the inability of the body, the rigid body, to continue the rest position or uniform circular motion. So write some examples of inertia, and then we will be discussing about the types of moment of inertia. The cases of inertia of moment of inertia. So there are different types of cases in moment of inertia. So we will discuss all the types with respect to all the types of bodies, with all the shapes, with definite examples also. So first of all, note the notes. If possible, take the screenshot. So in the previous discussion, we have completed the definition, the basic definition of moment of inertia. So for now, let's go to the first case. So for example, assume this as an axis, this as center. Assume this of mass m here. If this is rotating along this axis in such a way, or clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction, if this is the distance between the particle and the center of the body, for suppose let's name it as r. So the moment of inertia for this case is, so we ask like this. This is the basic case, the first case which is discussed everywhere. So for suppose we have moment of inertia of this body at this particular perpendicular distance as I is equal to m into r square. The basic definition also includes in some books. They will give us the product of mass of the body into the square of perpendicular distance to the center of the body. So here same, the basic formula of this case, the basic case is given I is equal to mr square. So m is the mass of the body here, r is the perpendicular distance from the body to the center of the body, center of this axis. So here I hope you understood this case. If the axis is rotating in this direction and the body also moves in this direction here, so it performs this way of motion. So for such case, the moment of inertia is equal, I is equal to mr square. So note it, if possible, don't take a screenshot here. Please maintain a table of contents. First column contains this figure and the moment of inertia here. I is equal to mr square, separate formula in a tabular form. Please note it. I will give you 3 seconds of time to pause the video and note. So let's discuss the previous case which is discussed, I equal to m into r square, by some examples here. So the first example is, you take this as an axis of rotation, where this axis rotates in the clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. this is the distance between, perpendicular distance between mass of the body. Here mass of the body is given as 2 kg. For example, take it as 2 kg. Then the distance, the perpendicular distance is given as 1 by 2 meter. Then calculate the moment of inertia of this respected body. So try it. If you substitute in the formula which is given in the previous case, if you get the answer, you are good to go. But if you did not get the answer, I will discuss the solution of this case in next 5 seconds. So pause the video and try the solution. Try to get the solution of this. This is a very basic type of question. So I hope you pause the video and try it. So if you get the answer, comment me down the first answer. So I will respond to you. And the first solution is the formula, which is I equal to m into r square. So here m is given as 2 kg and r is equal to 1 by 2 kg. See, 1 by 2 meters. So substitute I equal to m r square, I equal to m2 into 1 by 2 whole square. So here I is equal to 1 by 2. Okay, understood? I is equal to 1 by 2. So in the previous discussions, I forgot to say you the SI units of moment of inertia. So note it near the moment of inertia concept only. SI unit of the moment of inertia is mr square. M contains kg, m units is kg, r units, distance unit is meter, kg into meter square, kg into meter square is the SI unit of I, kg into meter square. So let's discuss the dimensional formula as well. Dimensional formula of moment of inertia. Kg means m L square. There is no t here. T power 0. Ml square t power 0 is the dimensional formula of the moment of inertia. Please note it near the definition of the moment of inertia so that you can't forget these two of things also. So I hope you get the same answer as well. So 2 into 1 by 4, which is 1 by 2. 1 by 2 I is equal to 1 by 2 kg meter square. So let's go to the another example. So please note the solution here. This is the first basic example. In the further cases, we will be going more complex cases. We will be dealing with more conceptual and complex cases as well. So this is the first type of basic problem which is given on moment of inertia. So let's go to the second example. So we can't say this is as example. This is a statement come problem. So now let's discuss. Here along the x-axis there are some masses, which is infinite masses, infinite number of masses, with r is equal to 2, r is equal to 4, r is equal to 8, r is equal to 16 and so on. So calculate the moment of inertia of this total system. So if we ask for the total system, then simply the answer is infinite. Why? Because there are infinite number of masses first, and then the distance to the perpendicular side of the center is growing on going. Here first this is 2 and this is 4, 6, 8, 16, 64. This is going on increasing. Then at the last step you will get simply infinite as answer, because here we get I is equal to m into r square. M is the constant everywhere. M into r square is 2 square plus 4 square plus 8 square plus 16 square plus so on. That's why simply you get answer as infinity. So please first note it as the statement, and then let's discuss some included problems for this type of question. So take a screenshot. This is the major type of question which is asked as a statement type of question. statement type of question. You will get this. Okay, then okay, next let's discuss only up to here, only up to here. So here there are 4 masses. The total system contains 4 masses. The question is, calculate the moment of inertia for the 4 masses. So this is the total system in point of the problem view. So r is equal to 2 in the first case, r is equal to 4 in the second case, r equal to 8 in the third, and r equal to 16 in the fourth. So the final moment of inertia is I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4. So I1 is the moment of inertia of the first object, I2 is moment of inertia of the second object, I3 is moment of inertia of the third object and the fourth object as well. So I1, let's calculate I1. What is I1? Here mass is given as m. So he did not mention any specific number to mass. So let's take as m only. M into r. R he is given as 2. 2 square. I1 is m into 2 square. Plus I2 is m into 4 square. Plus I3 is m into 8 square. I4 is m into 16 whole square. So here, this is the major structure of calculating for n number of bodies, n number of rigid bodies. The total system must be taken as a single system and the I final is calculated in this manner. 4m plus 16m plus 64m plus 256 m. So you calculate this addition and then you will get the final answer. So what is the final answer? 84 plus 84 into m plus 256 m, which is which is 320 n. This is the final moment of inertia of this total system where there are 4 bodies only. So he may ask any number as 6 bodies or 7 bodies or 8 bodies or 10 bodies as well. So, but the common the structure of calculating moment of inertia for n number of objects in a simple manner located like this is this. So compulsory note this solution as well. This is the solution of this. I discussed the basic concept as a statement in the previous case, and this case continues as the example included in that case. So let's go to another type of question, which is this is the most basic, most easiest question here. Particle is situated in the center of the rotation of axis. Then calculate the moment of inertia. So this is the simplest problem which I have said you, because this particle is situated at r is equal to 0 case, because at the center means there is no perpendicular distance between the mass and center of rotation. So if r is 0, then substitute r is equal to 0 in I is equal to mr square. R square becomes 0 and the total whole inertia, moment of inertia becomes 0. So the next, the major property of the dependence of moment of inertia. So at the discussion of moment of inertia, we have discussed this moment of inertia is for rigid bodies. So the dependence of the moment of inertia is the mass of the body. The moment of inertia depends on mass of the body. And the next one, moment of inertia is depend on the distribution of mass of the rigid body. So here for circular disc that will be different, for sphere that will be different. So for different types of cases, different moment of inertia will be acting here. So moment of inertia mainly depends on two types, which is first one mass of the body and the second one is distribution of the mass of the body. So we have completed this problem, and now assume this as the rotation of axis which is rotating in this direction. You can rotate it in this direction also, but majorly we will be discussing like this only. So for our convenience. So if a body is situated here, body of mass m. So what is the moment of inertia? So for suppose this is L, assume this length as L, then calculate the moment of inertia of that particular body with respect to this axis of rotation. So note the question first and pause the video and try to answer. So the process of solving is simple because we have to resolve the vector along the perpendicular direction. So first pause the, I gave you hint, just pause the video and try to solve the problem. So same question here. I forgot to say the angle between them is theta L. The length is L and the angle is theta. So the I will tell you. So here let's assume this as R. So here this is L and this is R. So what is R here? R is equal to L sin theta. L sin theta. According to the resolution of vectors, R is equal to L sin theta, or R by sin theta is equal to R by L, and R is equal to L sin theta, which is basic trigonometry or the resolution of vectors as well. So here we got the distance, perpendicular distance. So substitute this. I is equal to m into r square. I is equal to m into L sin theta whole square. So what's the answer final? I is equal to ml square sin square theta. ml square sin square theta. Please note the value. This is a separate case here, and this type of problems will also be coming. Like I discussed the first case, which is directly perpendicular. So there we will not calculate the perpendicular distance separately, because the perpendicular distance is given indirectly or directly. We can calculate without the basic trigonometric concept, but here we have to use the trigonometric concept, which is R is equal to L sin theta. If you know the length of this distance, which is not perpendicular, and if you know this theta, then you will easily calculate the moment of inertia for these type of cases. So now let's draw another type, which is also considered as problem and also considered as result. So this is the mass here. So ये थोड़ा छोटा हो गया. This is also same mass. Either same mass or different mass, there will be no difference. But the main thing here, the main difference is the total distance is r. The total distance is r. Then, if he asked you to calculate the moment of inertia of this total system, then what will we do now? So there is a separate formula and separate method of doing this problem, this type of problem. So first of all, you note this question, and in the next discussion, I will explain you the theory type, where we will be deriving the result of this moment of inertia. So let's go to the process of solving of this problem. So here I did not mention this axis of rotation is perpendicular bisector of these two bodies. So if he given that the perpendicular bisector is the axis of rotation, then the situation will become happy because you take r by 2 and r by 2 and simply solve the problem, and you will get moment of inertia finally without any changes. So but now here I gave you this passes perpendicularly but not along the bisector. This is not the bisector of R. Then we have to assume that this distance is suppose R1 and this distance is R2. So finally R1 plus R2 is equal to R. Then by using this center of mass concept, we are going to solve the problem. So for now, this is the y-axis and this is the m, which is on the left side, and same distance r and the mass which is on the right side. So we just shifted this to this. R2 distance is shifted to the rightwards so that this gets 0, 0 and this gets 0, R1, 0. So what is this? What is the distance? In the previous center of mass concepts, we can calculate this as m1 into 0 plus m2 into r plus by m1 plus m2. I hope you all know the center of mass concept, where we are finding the x position of the center of mass, xcom. There will be a formula xcom is equal to m1x plus m2x2 by m1 plus m2. So I applied this formula here and we got that m2 into r by m1 plus m2, m2 into r by m1 plus m2 for the first side, and then we shift the opposite situation, then we will get m1 into r by m1 plus m2, m1 into r by m1 plus m2. So we have done nothing here. We have deleted the r1 and r2 terms and we gave that in terms of r, small r, which is r1 plus r2. So m2r by m1 plus m2 is for mass 1 and m2r by m1 plus m2 is m1r by m1 plus m2 is for second mass. So then by using this, we are going to calculate the final moment of inertia. So up to here, note it, and then we will continue the further calculations. We got r1 and r2 in terms of masses and radius. So here, as we know the formula of I is equal to of two bodies, I of two bodies. One situation I explained you that for four bodies, I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4 is equal to final I. So same type of situation here, there are two bodies, then I final is equal to I1 plus I2. Here I1 is equal to M1 into R1 and I2 is equal to M1 into R2 square, M1 into R1 square plus M2 into R2 square gives you the final. So here I wrote I final is equal to M1 into R1 square plus M2 into R2 square. So here we got R1 as M2R by M1 plus M2. R is M1R by M1 plus M2. I final, substitute this R1 and R2 values in the I final. M1 into M2R by M1 plus M2 whole square plus M2 into M1R by M1 plus M2 whole square. So after the calculations, you will get I final is equal to M1 plus M1 M2 into R square by M1 plus M2. M1 M2 R square by M1 plus M2. This is the most important formula to calculate these type of questions. This is not only one type of question here. This is the basic example, and in this type of question you will get lot of questions. There will be different types of COMs and different types of masses, and he will be asking to find the final moment of inertia. So till now we discussed this formula, and then I will introduce you a term u is equal to m1 m2 by m1 plus m2. U is equal to m1 plus m2, m1 into m2 by m1 plus m2. This is also called as reduced mass of the system. If he gives this type of situation and asks to calculate the moment of inertia, then you have to do all the process which we were doing now, all the process, and finally you will get, after so many calculations, you will get the I final. So in order to reduce the time consumed by this question, u is equal to m1 m2 by m1 plus m2. The reduced mass concept is very helpful, because m1 m2 by m1 plus m2 is also present in this particular formula. Then if we substitute u value, reduced mass value, I final is equal to u into r square, So this is the best formula in order to get the answer quickly for this type of questions. For suppose if this is m and the distance is for suppose distance is between the perpendicular distances is not given, then we have to calculate. So that will be not included in this formula. You have to directly substitute the values here. U is equal to m1 m2 by m1 plus m2, m1 m2 by m1 plus m2. You will get the u value and directly substitute u value in this formula, u r square, m1 m2 by m1 plus m2 r square. Same formula is written in this form, but you have to calculate the u value first and then substitute u value in the I final formula. So up to here the concepts are clear, and then we are going to continue the further topics in the next session. And up to here, please read the notes which you wrote in this session and revise it daily until the next session. And I will meet you in the next session. Until then, take care. Bye bye.